like to shoot everything that moves and take credit for whatever. Oh, hell yeah, she should. I mean, she's going to get blamed for the problem. She might as well get credit for the things that have gone well.
Hi, it's Alan.
About the economy, talk about
haircut.
the jobs are much better than.
And again, dealing with electronic harassment. 00 keeps on saying that it's full. Even when I get away, I get rid of apps to clear up space because that's what it says to do. I get rid of them. And then the next time it says again, it's full. So I keep on giving up, clearing away more space. But giving up apps, and then it still says full. And then video, I push the play. There's nothing to see here. Nothing on the video. Go like this. It's not working. It's not. That's what I mean. It's just there's nothing on the screen here. It's just showing the reflection there, but nothing here. Should show my face on the screen. And it's part of electronic harassment when it comes to TIs. We don't know how many real TIs there are. When it first happens to you, you just know it's happening to you. That somebody has something for whatever reason, and you're trying to think, who would be mad at me? What have I ever done to anybody? And you're thinking, nothing, ever. And then you go to the Portland rally, and there's other people claiming to be. In 2019, there was different places around the world claiming. In Spain, there was people marching for targeted individuals. In Brussels, Belgium, in 2021, I think, 2020 or 21, they had it in front of, protesting in front of the BBC, targeted individuals, UK, United Kingdom, Dr. Matt Arnegard, Aaron, and Ella Free and group, Freedom for Targeted Individuals, protesting in Chicago, Sacramento, at the state capitol on the grounds there. I have a video on it in my YouTube, Alan Brewer Nielsen on YouTube, at the White House. The White House also bioethics in 2011, 2012, listening to targeted individuals. And it makes you wonder how many of these people were even real, because half these sites, you would think when this is part of your everyday life, the one thing is that this is the biggest thing in your life, and you would not stop going to the one group of people that understand what you're going through and can relate to it. You wouldn't stop it. You wouldn't stop going to it. It's the only people in the world that believe you, that know what you're going through is real. But then suddenly, out of the blue, within the last 4 or 5 years, they're just going away. Within the last couple of years, they didn't exist anymore. They're not. The websites aren't. There's like Targeted Justice that's still doing fights, and PAX International. Thank God for them. But the other ones, a lot of the sites haven't been since 2023. And this is supposed to be your entire life type thing. Your entire life. So again, it's just like the feds in January 6th to infiltrate the groups, not just, their own, but to infiltrate the enemy, the normal people that are targeted, and to manipulate it, or to just some of them, some even think owning it. And I don't like calling people perps, because sometimes people just get mad at each other and call each other names. But when this is supposed to be your entire life type thing, and it's really a type of experimentation on the brain-computer interface. This is Havana syndrome. When people get shocked in their brain, their heart, their body, it's using the brain as a weapon and the nervous system as a weapon. And you can, by implantation or implantables, that's the word for it, the medical word, implantables. It's not a crazy word like they implanted my tooth. It's real. They actually did that, like MK Ultra. No, the government wouldn't do MK Ultra. That's horrible. Look at the church committee. They did it. even Senate and Congress, well, they found out about it, had to give the church hearings. They are evil. COVID-19, they were told not to do it. It sounds evil. Don't do it. Did it anyway. And then got rich off of the vaccine and forced people to get it. So, yeah. They got the extra money. How many? 13 out of 15 groups, federal groups, were told and could have gotten in on the money for COVID and the vaccine. And they said no, according to a DARPA whistleblower. 13 out of 15 federal agencies could have gone in on it. That's what the DARPA guy said. But he knows it was not DARPA, he said, because he worked there and he knows it wasn't DARPA. Like, yeah, that's the one to really watch out for. It's like, who farted with this deadly toxic poison fart? Well, I know it wasn't me, but I think it was those people. It's like, who are you going to look at? The one who's saying, I know, brings attention to it. I know it wasn't me, but I think it was. It's like, yeah, it's the one who's saying, no, it wasn't me. So they give grant money for a good cause, a civilian cause, and then you also need a weaponized military cause. That's why $2 trillion go missing every 20 years. So I had never been anti-government, certainly not anti-defense, certainly not to protect our country. But when they use that knowledge just to look upon innocent people, citizens, who haven't hurt anybody, and let's use them because they're not me. Because they're not me, I can treat them like a dog or like shit. Even PETA, even animals have PETA to protect them. But when you're a person studying for the ministry or just then become a CNA, it's like you don't even have, police or doctors to protect you from the Constitution that they claim to love so much. You give them a little money, it shows very quickly how little they care about it. Because all they know is they get money and you ain't them, so they don't care. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about their oath of office. And they don't care about protecting America from enemies, foreign and domestic, against the Constitution, against the human rights to protect and serve. If there's money involved and they just, okay, and do what they're told. And if it means they get money for it, it shows that their oath, their loyalty, their drain the swamp, all of this stuff meant nothing. And it didn't happen bad one day and then they had time to think about it. We're talking 37 years of they had plenty of time to think about it. And it's like, so I'm glad and I'm thankful for to some degree for the ones that even, because at least they told me after 30 years what it was on my side, and for Havana syndrome. So in some sense, it sounds weird, a little bit thankful that the deep state showed me what it was after 30 years. But then they infiltrate some of the groups that are supposed to help target individuals or Havana syndrome. And because we trust in those groups, we rely and trust and believe what they're saying, we hold off on some of our personal activism because we believe that they will help us and steer. So we won't protest until, they're the group. They're going to coordinate and get something going. And whereas in Freedom for Targeted Individuals, they had once a year or twice a year, they were doing something. But then when we trust them, if we go out just by ourselves, then we'll look a little nutty. So, and we know it, like we're just the person that looks nutty, like, oh, the government, but now that it's out in the news with the brain-computer interface and telepathy and the microchip in the skull, I'm surprised. As much as there have been protests for the Palestinians, which I think there's a right to be protests against any group that's been, or Israel during the Holocaust. The fact there hasn't been protests and parades of people protesting for accountability, not just Senate having little meetings on TV, but rallies and protests. Why aren't people locked up for what happened with COVID? You know, even during the church committee, I don't know if people got, it's like they put on a show, an opera, to make it look like they're holding people accountable. But I don't know if important people went to prison. You know, I don't know. I just think it was a show to make it look accountable. But I don't think people went to prison. When they do this to innocent people, and all I personally want, I don't care about suing and getting tons of money. I just want my health and my emotions back. That's it. If there is money for anybody, I would hope to be used to protect other people and help other people that need it, not so that I can live in some big house. That's for sure. So I hope the people of Salem and Dallas think about that. I'm not even trying to embarrass their name or reputation. I just want what I wanted for 37 years, for them to heal my side, turn the thing off, and let me be able to feel what everybody else feels all the time, their normal emotions, and not have it blocked by directed energy, implanted weapons, or RFID, like Elon Musk is talking about it now. But our government, everybody knows, has been doing stuff 30 years before it even reaches us on the news. They've been practicing and working on this technology and experimenting on people for 25, 30, 40 years before we even get a whiff of it. And you go to the doctors and say, what is it? What is it? And they just, oh, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. 30 years. If you're still alive and you haven't killed yourself, then suddenly they'll feel, okay, we'll put it out in the news now. But we won't give all the secrets away. We'll just throw bits of it and call it something else, not experimentation. We'll say it's China. We'll say it's Cuba. We'll say it's Russia doing to us. But then sometimes they intermingle that with the truth and say, no, our own government does it. We know it. I even have videos of them showing it on CNN and on Fox. Our own government has it and does it to our own people. Like Mark Zaid is, I asked him to, for me, but he said he's only working with government people. But according to Ed Green, or what his name is, former CIA, trying to get to the bottom of Havana syndrome, they still haven't implemented the Havana Act of 2021 for our government workers. Now, obviously, why implement the Havana Act of 2021 to help government workers? And yet 3 years later, still not, that's what he said, have it implemented to help them. I mean, are they, or is it just to cover an alibi for what they did to regular civilian workers? I mean, not just civilians. And they're going to claim it's happening to them too, so they can blame it on China or Russia. Anyway, when you're part of it and it happens to you on a daily basis, and you have no enemies, ever, you just if you really want to drain the swamp, how about just help somebody by, you wasted 30 of my years before I even knew what it was, where I had to live daily with this side pain. Just turn that thing off and let me feel, and turn the pain thing off. It's ridiculous to experiment on civilians. Anyway, we know it's real. Havana syndrome people know it's real. We have the patents to the technology. But it's weird because they blame you for not feeling or doing enough of this or that. But they're the ones taking all the drive and motivation from you, even when you still do something to fight against them. Even though you don't feel all the motivation, it's like the emotions they take from you, but you still fight on anyway, And of course, they're still saying like, oh, there's nothing, there's no change, like, because it's monitoring your vital signs and your EEG at the time. So for regular people who this doesn't happen to, which is overwhelmingly 99.9% of the population, it sounds like weird, crazy stuff. But we know it's real, so what can you do? All right, I'll talk to you later.